So you ladies decided you wanted to see how to create the rainbow eye. So I am happy to show that to you today. And if you want to check out how to do this really easy, simple smoky eye, check the link in the comments and I'll post it there too. Okay, so my first tip when applying eyeshadow palettes is to make sure that you do it before you apply the rest of your makeup, and that is because you end up with bits of powder down your face and you're probably going to have to wipe it off and redo your makeup. So if you do this stage first, then you can clean it up as well when you're putting your concealer and your foundation on. So that's my number one top tip. Okay, first of all, to prep the eyes, some people use an eye primer. You can use a regular primer as well. I've already put my primer on, so now I'm going to go ahead to the next step, which is putting some concealer on my eye. I do this and I use the very lightest shade that we do, and the reason that I do it is it helps that your colours are really going to pop on your eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. So the blending bud is really helpful to help you make sure that the concealer is really absorbed onto your eye and it's not just sitting on the surface. So these things are a must in your makeup kit. If you haven't got some yet, you need to invest in some. So, like I've said before, I am not a qualified makeup artist yet. I just love to play around and watch tutorials. So I'm going to show you how I created the rainbow eye. I'm first of all using this tool, which is a double-ended eye tool, an angled shadow and sponge brush. I use the sponge brush and I start from the inner corner of the eye. A lot of makeup looks, you usually start on the outside, but for this one, this is how I created it. Start with in the inner corner of the eye. If I just look that way, it's because I'm looking in the mirror. And I literally just pat it onto the eye, right at the corner, and bring it round like this. So it's the very inner corner of your eye. Again, pat it on. These colours are really, really vibrant and they really do pop, especially when you've got the concealer on as your base. So that's the first step. The next is to get the gold. Again, with your sponge brush, you can just wipe it on a bit of tissue that you've got just to get rid of any excess of the silver. And I'm going to bring this right up next to my silver, on top of the bit that I've done, with a bit of the silver still showing in the very inner corner. And I'm just kind of layering it up. So patting it on. So it's really popping. It's like my favourite word in this, isn't it? I think that's the only word to describe this palette. Seriously, how beautiful. So, patting it on. And there you go, there's your next layer of your rainbow. It doesn't matter how messy it is kind of going this way, because you are going to layer it up and they're going to overtake each other. So next, I skip this colour. I go ahead and use Vintage, which is like a pinky red almost. So again, wipe your brush just to get off the excess of the last colour. Go ahead and get some on your sponge brush. And off we go. Going over the gold just so it's leaving a little bit showing. we go. So that has created a rainbow. We need to blend these in slightly. So I change the end of the brush. Just start to blend my lines slightly. That's going to help you really blend it in so it's not as sat on top of each other. So go ahead back to vintage with the other eye. My other top tip is to do each side bit by bit. So do your silver on this side, do your silver on this side, and then do the next bit, and then do the next bit. That's going to stop you from getting in a situation where you're like, oh, the eyes don't look equal. If you're matching it up as you go, it's going to really help. So again, oh, wrong side, patting it on top of the gold. Again, it doesn't really matter how far along you take it on the other side because we are layering it up, and any kind of mess we make, we can clear up. We can. Remember, guys, it's only makeup, so, you know, it can all be corrected. So here, okay, so we've used the vintage, which is, yeah, this one here, and we've done the silver, the gold, and the vintage. Then we're going to go on and use Victorious, which is this beautiful pink one. Pink is my absolute favourite colour. So we're going to bring that into this corner of the eye, over the top of vintage. Again, using the sponge, just dabbing away. There we go, outer corner. Again, it doesn't really matter how messy it is because we can always clean it up. Don't be afraid to get it on your face. That is why we don't put our makeup on first. Something I've learned through all the experimenting that I've done. So there we go, that is Victorious in the corner. Finally, we bring our purple using this tool, which is a crease brush. And we're going to bring it from the very corner and out around the top. So just make sure you get rid of the last bit of excess. So dab it in the corner, and then you're going to start from about where the gold is, not all the way across. And you're just going to pull it backwards and forwards without letting it leave your skin. And then bring in the last corner in here. So again, it doesn't matter how messy you get it, because we can tidy it up, and we will tidy it up at the end. So very corner. And about here, and drag it round. Purple. So we've got it in the inner corner here, the outer corner, I'm sorry, and we've blended it over the crease using the crease brush, not all the way to the inner corner. Okay, so it's pretty messy as it is. So what you need to do now is get a really nice shading brush. So this is our shading brush, which is a double end liner and shader, but you can use any brush you want, and make sure it's clean. What we're going to do is then blend the edges so that it's smooth. Again, this motion is really good for blending. I'm going to get that really smooth line. If you feel like at that point your purple isn't, and we are going to clean this up, guys, don't worry. If you feel like your purple isn't bold enough and you want to add a bit more, go back to your crease brush, put a bit more on around your crease, and you can blend it up again. So just take your time doing both eyes and really clean up this. Clean up these eyes. There we go. So we're really making it nice and smooth and blended in. That one is looking about perfect. This one just needs touching up. Perfect. I like those. Okay. So the next step is to clean up around here, and what I usually do is I use some concealer to just really carve my eyebrows out. So again, this concealer, just use it for everything. You only need the tiniest little dots. Let me just check that I've got the right colour. So if I can actually squeeze some out. I always have to be so careful because I don't want to squeeze too much out, because you really don't need an awful lot of this stuff. So I just do it on too much. Just do it on my brow bone, and you can use a concealer brush if you want first, just to kind of smooth it along and make sure you've got that really clean line around your brow. Again with that one. So I usually do this first and then back to the beautiful blending buds. And just dab it on and blend it. So here I have just brought the concealer down a little bit too far. So again, just about playing really, and even it out. So I get the shade brush and I can just bring it up slightly again. This one's the clean brush, but it has obviously a little bit of product left, and you don't want it too heavy, the kind of smoke too heavy. So there we go. So that is a roundabout perfect. So we've carved out the eyebrow, we've brought the smoke up. You can spend a little bit of time blending it in there, and then we're going to go on to cleaning up. Okay, so the first things first for tidying up your side of your eyes is you want to be putting some of the concealer on the bud here. And this is almost serving as an illuminator as well. You want the highest part of your face to be highlighted later. So you want to use a lighter concealer at this point. So what I do is I literally go from the corner of my eye towards my eyebrow and do a clean line, and then I dab my concealer, and I've cleaned up all that muck. And that is going to give me the really clean line that I want from my eyeshadow. So again, on the side, from my inner corner of my eye up to my edge of my eyebrow line. And dab, 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 dab. Somewhere over